everyone, and welcome back for the very last Doodlebug So Much Fun process video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this little series. I hope it's inspired you to find different ways to use this collection. I'm going to do a video after this showing you everything that I have left over and my plan with that stuff after that. And I absolutely love this layout that I'm making. Hang on, I'm going to bring it up so I can figure out just how many photos I got on this layout, because I got a lot. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I believe. 19 photos on this layout. So to be fair, I am following a sketch by Scrapbook Generation, so that is probably the only reason I would have thought to get all 19 of these photos on here, but it's really good idea. I do use my selfie printer to print up some of the photos at a smaller size, so I believe they are like 2 by 2, which actually, because the selfie print's a little funky, they are going to be slightly less. I think they're 2 by like, I think I ended up cutting them 2 by 1 3/4, just so, I think I chose that just so that they would all be the exact same size, at least for the small ones. And then there's some 3 by 5s and a couple other ones. I don't remember all the sizes on there. So, but I really like how this layout turns out. And I think I mentioned in my last video that I had saved, I didn't have a kit made up for this one, so I had saved some of the animal, basically, I think all of the animal things that had animal puns to go with them. And this was just a fun day this summer that me and my kids went to the zoo, and it was a fun day. We just went and had fun. We didn't have an agenda. We didn't have anything, we have a zoo membership, so going to the zoo is just, for fun for us. So these are the photos, and I decided just to add my adhesive to the layout since I knew I was going to be filling it all in. And you're going to see, I'm going to have to trim down my layout, but I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So I'm adding, those are the 3 by 5 photos, and also along with the 3 by 5 photos, since I didn't have one that would fit and I had an extra photo, along the top, I believe I cut those to 3 by 2.5. So those 2 photos at the top. And the layout is maybe a little busy, but you can still see most of the photos. And the photos that are small are not photos that are really all that important. They're just pictures of the animals that I had fun, or we had fun looking at. A lot of them are birds because they have like this little bird area, and I love birds, so my kids knew that, and so I decided to try to take a bunch of pictures of the birds. So I kept all the main photos of like me and the kids, or just the kids, in the bigger sizes, and then the smaller ones. There is one small one, I think, that is one of the kids or something, I don't know, but anyways. So this is the right hand side of the layout, and I cut down that green. Luckily I had that green Petite Prince paper. I wish I had a little bit more of that, but that's okay. I'm going to cut it down to add a little bit to both sides of the layout. And this photo is, I think that photo remained at a 4 by 6, and then the one below it. And now I'm going to the left-hand side, and you can see all the little photos there. And I'm just going through because I had more than I wanted to use, so I'm just picking out ones that didn't really matter if they went on the layout or not. And because there was a couple that were either too blurry or weren't important. So you're going to see me again. I'm going to take, there's also some spaces in between that I need to fill in with some patterned paper. And so I'm looking for any 2 by 2 pieces that I might have now. And those are all the embellishments that I have for this. I didn't really have much pattern paper on this collection, or for this little layout, I guess, not for the collection. But now I'm just trimming down a few, like I said, to the sizes, and I'm cutting them down also to 2 by 1 3/4. I think it's 1 3/4. And I'm just cutting some of the blue and then some of, I can't remember if they're green or kind of a rainbowish polka dot that was on the back of another paper, but I just cut a few down and I figured I'd wait and see how it looks before I move on. So these are the photos, and I'm going to go ahead and I again just added the glue to the layout and or to the piece of cardstock. Excuse me, I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. So I added my adhesive to the cardstock, and now I'm just gluing down all the pieces, and here's where you're going to see a fairly large chunk at the top of the photo. So I am going to end up trimming down my layout, but we will talk about that in a minute. Oh, and here comes my cat. I'm sorry, I hope he's not too noisy. He gets in this mode where he carries this toy around and meows, so you'll probably hear him meowing in just a minute. But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and carry around all of, sorry, hang on. Oh, sorry about that. My cat was really distracting. This video isn't turning out the best so far. So anyways, you see me, I put a piece of washi tape there in the middle because my adhesive had actually stretched out further than I was ready for it to. And now, so I'm kind of making like a rectangle. Where it's blank and where I put that washi tape is going to be my journaling, and I'm going to type up my journaling. And so I'm leaving it blank for now, and then I just plan to type it up onto an 8.5 by 11 piece of pattern or just white cardstock, and you will see that in the end. So I'm just going to leave that blank for now, and I'm going to do that at the end. I also need to do my journaling for another page that I have done, and so I figured I would do all the journaling at once. So I'm just trying to get these so they line up right because they were cut. It's hard to cut the pictures to all the right size when you're using the selfie. So I got them mostly right. You can tell that the left-hand side is really off, but I knew I was going to have this piece of pattern paper to put over it, and that makes it look like they're all straight. So that worked out just fine. And I had these two border strips. You might have seen me add one to the right-hand side of the page, and it had turtles all over it. And they do end up going on there sideways, but I don't let that bother me. I just I liked it. I wanted to use it up, and I thought, you know what? It's not really going to hurt anything. Nobody's going to look at the layout and say, oh, well, those turtles are sideways, you know. So it just adds a little bit more of that green. And again, I'm sorry for my really messy hair. So I might have mentioned that I'm moving craft rooms right now, so I'm not too worried about, or I will be moving craft rooms. I'm not too worried about where my camera placement is and things like that at this point, because things are going to be really different, and I can't wait to show you guys. It'll be really fun and exciting. I'm doing a lot of organizing. So here's where I'm going to trim the layout down, and I decided, because I had to trim off quite a big chunk, that I'm just going to go ahead and mount both the layouts on a piece of cardstock. Well, I'll call it cardstock, but it's kind of a pattern paper. It came from close to my heart. A long time ago, they had like a package where you could order all of their colors with like patterns on them. So you will see me bring that out. So I went ahead and trimmed off on both sides, tried to make it as close as possible to match each other as far as size-wise goes. But I don't worry too much about it. So here's where I'm getting out my cardstocks. And I started out with this green. You can see that there's just a slight pattern. So on one side it has like a white pattern, and on the other side it has like a textury, smooth type of, I don't even know what you would call it. So I started with the dark green, and then I decided I liked this lighter green a little better because this green matches the turtles and the Petite Prince paper just a little more. And I'm not going to bother to gut it. Sometimes with a piece of cardstock like that, I will gut it. But I decided, you know what, I have enough cardstock and I want to get things used, so I'm not even going to worry about it. So I did add quite a few strips of my scrappy tape because I did mount this on the shiny side. I wanted to make sure that it stuck down really well. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do the same with the left-hand side of the page. And On the shiny, I don't even know if you can see it in the layout or not, but it's like this little swirly design. And so I am going to turn that green one over. So I'm lining it up now, but then I'm checking to make sure, so you can kind of see that I turned it around to make sure the swirlies, not that you can even see much, but I thought, you know what, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it neatly, right? So now I'm just butting them up together and trying to make sure that it's mostly the same. You know, in the albums, they really don't go next to each other. Although I did think about going through my albums someday and like either sewing together the page protectors or gluing them together somehow, the ones with double pages, but that's so far in the future that I'm not even going to worry about it for right now. So that is pretty much the layout. I'm going to add, I thought there was a photo for the very left-hand side. We'll see if I end up finding that or remembering it. So now I have all of these little puns and ephemera pieces and things like that, oh, yep, there's the photo. Which that photo is just him looking, my son looking at a penguin. It's not that important of a photo, but I wanted it to go there, and I am going to struggle because I wanted it to tuck underneath this photo, but I try to do it, and the photo, it leaves a little indent in the photo. So what I am going to do in just a minute is I'm just going to take my scissors. Oh, sorry, you can see my camera. My camera's not tightened down now, so it's if I touch anything up above, it moves on me. So I do take that photo on the left-hand side, and I just cut it. I kind of somewhat eyeballed it, but I cut it so it looks like it's going behind the photos, but it's not really. So, and then I'm going to glue that down. And then all of these pieces, I'm just going to place around and play around a little bit with them and add all their like sayings with them. So the hanging out one, I'm going to try to put near the sloths. There's the otterly cute or something I'm going to add near the otters, and the turtly awesome, all kinds of fun things like that. I really like how this layout turned out. I think it just turned out to be a really cute and fun page for a really fun and playful day. I don't think I use absolutely everything, but I do use quite a bit. So, and you can tell now looking at both the pages that the borders with the turtles on it it doesn't really matter that the turtles are sideways. They just kind of look kind of cute. So some of these puns don't really have much to do with the fact of going to the zoo, like the utterly adorable. I mean, I just put that in there because I thought it was fun. So, yeah, I really had a lot of fun using this collection. I had a lot of stuff left over afterwards, and I did finally find the cards. I mentioned in the video that I wasn't able to find the cards, but I finished that video and I went on a manhunt for those cards. But I didn't end up doing the cards like I thought I would do, so but I'll talk about that in the next very final video where I just go over all of the layouts. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead. Basically, I like how the clusters are going, so I'm going to start gluing everything down. And again, some things are going down flat on the page, and some things are going to be going down with foam tape. And I really like that otter. I think he is absolutely adorable. Otterly adorable, I guess. And I really like the sloths. So along with the ephemera pieces and the stickers, I also had some like enamel stickers with all these animals on it. And one of my favorite areas is going to be these sloths up here. So I'm trimming down, and this is a sticker, so of course it's kind of annoying to get this foam tape on there, and there's a bunch of small pieces. And I actually rip off some of these leaves on accident, but I put it there so you can't even tell on the layout. But I'm adding a bunch of foam tape to it so that it won't stick to the layout. And I really like the way this sloth guy looks. And then when I add the other sticker up there, it looks really cute up in that area. Probably my least favorite part is the llama and the frogs and stuff on the very right hand side, but it's okay. It looks good in the end. So here's the leaf pieces that accidentally got ripped off. So Now I'm going to glue down the llamas and the hedgehog and the frog. I can't see what the frog says, but again, I'm adding just some more foam tape. This is the hedgehog, so I decided to add some foam tape behind him. And I am going to add some embellishments to a few of the squares on the left-hand side. But this is a great way if you have some photos that you don't mind if they're a little smaller. You can make you could even fill in that whole area with more photos and not have a whole big area like that for journaling, which I'm not going to do my journaling on the camera. It took me actually a few days to get my printers. You guys know if you've been watching my videos that my printer has been on the fritz. But lately, knock on wood, it has been working every time I've tried. So I'm actually going to attempt to work on my Project Life pages after this. So because I like to add some type journaling into my Project Life pages, and I've been putting it off, and I'm still way back in January. So yay, I hope it works. But there is a still photo in the end where you can see the title and the journaling in the end. So yeah, so the right hand cluster is all glued down now. I've added a couple things like I mentioned over here on these boxes on the left hand side. And I'm just seeing how much time left is on this video. Make sure. I am going to add this. I really like that I utterly adore you piece too, so I added another otter over here, and you might have seen me just trim off. I didn't measure again. I just cut off part of the bottom of it so that it would come off the bottom of the page. And here are those enamel shapes that I was talking about with the animals, and I believe I use almost, if not all of them, almost every one of them up. And there's that other sloth that I hung over there, and I kind of really just like the way those two sloths look. They're not really, they're just kind of hanging out there in the mid-air, but that's fine with me. I really like it. So on this sheet of stickers, there were these little flower ones, so I'm adding those all around too, just to kind of add something that has the same element all around the page. But I really like how this layout turned out. It was a lot of fun, and you know, I think in my journaling, there was a couple things I probably should have wrote, like that picture there on the very right-hand side of the map. So my kids really like to look at the map, at least my youngest. He likes to stop every 3 feet and look at the map and find out where we're going. And so I wanted to take their picture in front of the map. Well, my one son, his new thing is to be weird in pictures, of course. He's a teenager now, so he just went up and stood directly facing the map. So I took that picture, and my other son in it, if you can tell, he's got his hand on his chin like he's really observing the map. So it was a fun. So those are the type of photos that I feel like really go well with this page. So, and now I am taking my enamel dots, and I am picking one of 3 different colors. So I'm having a blue, a green, and a yellow, and I'm going to add a bunch of those clusters around the page. And I'm also going to add a couple more of those to the journaling area, and I do add just a couple more things to the journaling area. You can see that in the very end. And yeah, I hope you guys like this series. To be honest, I'm happy to be moving on. I had a lot of fun with it, but I'm definitely ready to scrap with other things. There's a lot of, not a lot, but a few new collections that have come out that I'm excited to use up. So there's one close up, and then you will see the final layout here in just a second with the journaling. And thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.